and deep walk. So you should know what we're talking about.
point, there is a spiritual.
Turn your phone down.
My bad. There is a a spiritual component to it that we have.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, that you have to have an element of having people to fully want to think positive and so to speak, but we understand that religion sometimes can be a barrier to other folks, so we don't try to make it, hey, you got to be Christian, you got to be Muslim, you got to be Buddhist, you got to be this, because we've had people from all different walks of life that understand basically that we are all created equally, and that we are not supposed to kill each other,
I
and
know
that's
that's
supposed
right.
to be a nature of violence.
I love it. So when it comes to the mission, the purpose, the objective of 100 Black Men Deep Walk, you all are fulfilling that on a regular basis by not only marching in the community, but you're doing other things as well. We'll talk about that in the second half of the show. But I kind of want to hear about some of the things that you've already done. What have you already done? If people can see you at a traffic stop and be like, man, I know who you are, or if people walk up to you in the community and know who you are, what have you already done?
Yeah. Well, on the west side, we brought two different, I guess they use the word opponents,
Mm-hmm.
these days, and we kind of, set them down and got them to, you know, let them know, man, y'all can hate each other, but still coexist. Like,
Right. If
I
you're really
mean,
like, if you got to hate each other,
I
come on
mean,
now.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to, like, you can be mad at me and I can be mad at you, and we still can wake up, go make our money, and, take care of our family every day. Like,
Yeah.
if,
Okay.
if we can't come down and sit down and say, hey, man, I'm sorry and I apologize.
So you all were
That's it.
somewhat responsible for calling a truce in the
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
that's the stuff that's behind, behind the
Yeah.
doors. Never call names and, put nobody out there. But, there's a couple of things that we aim for.
I mean,
and
we need that.
and then just what I'm saying, some more tangible items like by us being unified and working with other groups and getting resources to our community, we've been able to host food drives during the pandemic, where we've got work with organizations such as New Era Birmingham. We rented U-Haul trucks and actually went to people houses, into whole neighborhoods, riding through with a U-Haul truck open and just passing out what I'm saying, things to people, making sure that those who didn't have transportation,
Okay.
um, to make sure that people who didn't have transportation to get to where they need to get their resources, we brought it right to your front door. You know what I'm saying? Haircuts for the students when they come back, when they come get ready to go back to school, toy drives. We've had members that have had to go inside Judge Sparks' courtroom and
Mm-hmm.
different other courtrooms to speak on other people's behalf,
Okay.
youth behalf, to let them know, hey, look, this person right here, we know they got a traffic ticket. The reason they ain't paid it because they ain't had a job. Like, let's see about working with community service. They do work with us. So this is not another person that's in jail, missing their family, whatever the case may be. That can be out here that's out here already being a
Mm-hmm.
positive citizen, but just like Robert said, unfortunately got caught up in a bad situation. So it's things like that we've been a part of, cleanups in different neighborhoods. We've done hosted school events with partnering with schools who, we tell people all the time, our schools are always looking for people to come help.
Right. In
You know what I'm
some kind of
saying?
way.
So we've been that fill that role, whether it's being there for a career day, being there to make sure that we get the resources needed from the community for a fun day to go off right. We've been there. We
That's
just
what's
don't
up.
always put it out there in folks' faces, because we known out here for what we do.
And that's what it's about, doing it from your heart. And then, like I said, the import, you see women's groups all the time. You see all types of uh pearls in this and the bowls in this, but to see men doing it is major in our community. Black boys, black men have a hard time. We understand it. We accept that for what it is, as women. So I'm speaking on behalf of all the vital women. We know what it's like, but when it comes into our households and to our relationships and things like that, we want to have a better understanding of our men and what you all need and what you think. So when it comes to you all sharing the message on our behalf in the community or standing in front of us and doing that, it is major. It's definitely vital. Um, Speaking about the experience of a black man in Birmingham, Alabama, young black man, tattoos, locks. Like these are the things that look away and make people feel away. Let's talk about that. I want to talk about that. What is the black male experience like?
I had locks until 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and things of that nature. Like I got treated, a little rough when I did have them, but now that I don't, it's like, I mean, there's no reason for me to cut them. I cut them because I had them all my
Yeah.
life. So,
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean,
But that's just a part of it, like the
Yeah.
full experience. What is that like? I have no clue. I can
I
only go
mean-
off what I imagine based on what I see you all say and what I think. But what is it
mean,
like?
kind of rough, but to the point now it's like, it's like you look at it now, like, I mean, it ain't so bad as other cities, because I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, police shootings and things of that nature. We don't too tough out at it in Birmingham. But,
No, we don't have that, but we got
you
the,
know, too
the
tough.
other.
We got other things of that nature. But I mean, for the most part, they can only respond to to crime. So I mean, it's kind of up to the other half of us to try to like if a person do some kind of weird stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the community, like, they should be having to address the community before
Hmm.
before the police.
Okay.
Like, if little John then shot up in the apartments, you know what I'm saying? Somebody knows
In the
like,
apartments. Okay.
yeah, he
Okay.
need to be reprimanded to us before we can even take him to the police. You know what I'm saying? We make sure he get treated right. You get a lawyer, and you know what I'm saying. Hey, you messed up, bro. You got to face this. Like, this is what it is.
Okay.
You know?
The experience of a black man. What's your experience?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as a response to maybe a solution, but your personal experience.
Yeah, man. I say it's very diverse and unique, and you had to embrace the journey. Like I said, I'm a father. I grew up without my father, like many men inside our
Mhm.
community have, and I distinctly can say things in my life that I've seen that other people who had a father, dealt with a little differently.
Mhm.
So me personally, I try to be in my children's life. What I'm saying, I, like a lot of other fathers, have, children by, more than one woman.
Okay.
So that's in itself is, a balance in itself of dealing with children life, family life, then also still the work that we do in the community. And sometimes it's hard to balance it. You have to step back from things. And in totality of the stuff that we deal with on a daily basis. Like I just got, my I just updated my tag.
Okay.
And so before I updated my tag, I know for a fact that without me having that tag updated, there's a chance I'm gonna be stopped. I also know that there's a chance, and we all know that even when you ain't did nothing wrong, for a black male who've had those bad experiences, such as myself, even when I wasn't in the wrong, I said sometimes I was, but all the time I wasn't.
Right.
But those situations still went wrong, and there's still a trauma behind that. So I'm like, okay, I ain't going in this side of town till I get this tag. I ain't going, I'm just going to work and home, school, whoop de whoop, and praying they don't get stopped. So, that's the diversity of it.
I hear that. I'm gonna tell y'all what I was expecting to hear though. I was expecting to hear it's hard. That's what I was expecting. Like, in short, it's hard. And that's based on, like I said, what we've heard, and then especially from the vantage point of a black woman. If ever I have a conversation with you that's negatively geared or that's addressing other issues, that's always the first defense that I hear. It's hard. Y'all don't know what it's like to be a black man. So I'm asking the question like, well, what is it like then?
But I thought you were speaking on the fact of dealing with the police.
No, just being a black
dealing with-
man.
Oh yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough, but it also, I mean, it breaks you early. It grow you up, early. Like,
Okay.
you go to looking at things that you shouldn't think about as a child. It makes you, think about as a child.
Interesting.
It prepares you for life in itself. You know what I'm saying? I don't think no one else, no disrespect to any kind of ethnic group. I don't think no one else that grows up in the type of environment that we growed up in and survived the things that we survived in can't say that we can't go anywhere and survive in life. You know what I'm saying? we done got it out the mud. Like literally, I remember, you know what I'm saying, at a time where I didn't walk to a job, you know what I'm saying, to take care of, not before I even had a family, take care of myself, you know what I'm saying, those other things. So
Mhm.
even I don't just defate and say that it's hard. I say, you know, it's diverse, it's challenging, but it I embrace it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no sense in me just saying it's hard and just allowing that to be it.
Hmm. Okay. So because of those experiences, because of who you are, what you've seen, how you've grown up, you all have been able to really put your life's experiences into your work. And this is something that you live on a daily basis. Like life is service, but it's about balance as well. So yeah, I'm serving, but I'm also living. I'm doing what I do to and enjoying myself. But the first priority is making sure that our community is covered, and we can count on y'all for coverage.
Wow.
So coming up in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about what some things are that they have coming up, how you can be a part of um, the work of 100 Black Men Deep. And yeah, like that part. Are you all looking for other brothers to be a part of?
Most definitely, and it's not just brothers. Let me say
I was
this:
gonna say too, like it's
even though
called
we
men.
named it the 100 Black Men Deep Walk, it
Uh-huh.
was because, just like you said, the women was always there,
Mhm.
and the children follow behind the women. But
Right.
the men, our men, was not showing up in the community. Was not taking the role. So we did ownership on the men because we knew if we got men out there, oh, the women and everybody else coming because they want to see this protector, want to see, you know what I'm saying, this, you know, they want to see us out
Right.
there. And
Right.
they've been coming ever since. So it's, even though it's men deep walk, we putting ownership on the men, but we welcome everybody.
So women, you are welcome to join as well. Do you all have social media, phone numbers, anything they can find you on?
Yes. So you can find us on Facebook, 100 Black Men Deep Walk. If you don't even not even on Facebook, you can just go to Google and type it in. There is 100 Black Men Deep of America. We're not associated with them. We are 100 Black Men Deep Walk.
All right.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Cool. So coming back, we're going to talk about these events where you can find them. We're going to flip through the news and see if there's anything else going on out here that's as vital as this. And we may share some of that too. And we'll do that in just a few moments right here on B94.9 WATV. We're on Sunday nights. The V stands for Vital. We'll be right back.
I don't know what's up with my phone.
On Sunday nights, the V stands for Vital. Welcome back in. We have 100 Black Men Deep Walk Birmingham right here in the building with us. And we've been talking about, I've asked questions about the experience of the Black man, what that looks like in Birmingham, what that looks like when faced by the police, what that looks like in the community. And they've shared, they've been doing things and working for some years now, for a few years now. And I'm grateful for your work. So you all have some events coming up, several events over the next couple of months. And what are they? I know that you got another walk, but that's a little bit off. But there's some things coming up like soon.
Yes, yes, most definitely. So, it's always an opportunity for people to get involved. So we actually have on next week on Saturday the 22nd at 10 a.m. we have a community cleanup at Harrison Park. The address for Harrison Park is 901 17th Street Southwest, Birmingham, Alabama 35211. For those familiar with the West Side, it's right near the Piggly Wiggly. We'll be inside that community. One thing we like to do before we go to actually do a walk in the community is have some other service events and things to get our name out and pass out flyers, let people know we coming.
Okay.
After that, we actually have we're partnering with the Crescent Cultural Community Center in West End, and a few other organizations. We're hosting the Trunk or Treat on the second annual Trunk or Treat that they're hosting. Asking people to come out. Basically, we like to provide a safe space for our community to come out. We have security fully enforced. There will be great costume, great trunks. If you are interested in being a part of it, definitely reach out. We have space for you. That will be Monday, October the 31st. We'll open up the gates at 6:30 until all the candy is gone. And that is the address for that is 1121 Tuscaloosa Avenue, 35211. For those also familiar with the West Side, it's right across from Sheba Foods in West End.
Get them landmarks, man.
Hey, you gotta get on. They know what they on this side.
Sure.
And then so to get into those are some events that we have in the community. We also have a Stop the Violence Expo fundraiser we're doing. This is more for the adult crowd that we have to try to get them involved and get them. Some people ain't gonna come out to the walk, some people ain't gonna come out events, but you got money that can suffice for your time.
For sure.
So on Saturday, November the 5th, we will be hosting Stop the Violence Expo. We have rappers from artists, not rappers, artists from here in Birmingham, Northside Wheezy, ALP, OG Brick, and Savage 2 Times. That event will start at 10 o'clock. It's at the Magic City Event Center on Bankhead Highway, 1155, and $15 submission. Those proceeds go toward the organization to help fund our walks and our events.
That's what's up. Okay. So that's a full rundown. So the first one, just for everybody that's tuned in and want to be able to say, I'm going to do this one. The first one is what now?
Is next Saturday at 10 o'clock at Harrison Park.
Okay, and that's the cleanup.
That's the cleanup.
Which is going to introduce you out to that community. So everybody's always looking for a solution. It's a whole bunch of killing going on. There's a whole bunch of this going on. We got to do something. Somebody got to do something. All right, so somebody's doing something and giving you the invitation to come out and be a part of it. So I'm going to ask again, while we got these people tuned in, how can they be a part of? How can they get in on the action?
Most definitely. So you can send us a message through our social media page, 100 Black Men Deep Walk. We're very active on that page. We have secretaries and people who actively monitor that page. If you send your question or information in, we get back to you and can plug you in with any other events that we have. I put my number out there, 205.
Sound hesitant.
Yeah, because we did this before, but they know me anyway. 205-962-5403. If you send me a text message with your name and your interest of helping with the event, I'll make sure we get you plugged in and on the text message list of when we have any events and everything.
That's what's up. Shouts out to Loving Bird, who is posting as we speak what's happening. So thank you for that. Thank you for that information.
That's our first lady right there, secretary.
Yeah.
Shout out, Bird.
Thank you much for that. So information is posted for those of you who will go back and watch and those who are watching now. When we think about what Black men and boys and people are experiencing, one news article comes to mind for me. You all can chime in if you like. There's a shortage of Adderall. And we know that back in the day, like the little Black boys in school, like in class, they used to get medicine. They got Ritalin back in the day. Have y'all heard about Ritalin lately?
Yeah, I know. Not lately.
Not lately, right?
Not lately.
Right. So that's kind of like why I'm asking about this whole Adderall thing. There's so many other medications that can be given. Focalin, Concerta, Vyvanse, like you got tons of medications. But when the story broke, it brought to mind for me that you often see Black boys being diagnosed with behavioral issues and being treated with medications to deal with things that the community could better deal with. So I was having this conversation with some other guys, and they were like, "Yeah, well, one of them was like, yeah, I was on Ritalin back in school because I was bad." And I'm like, "Well, that's not necessarily Ritalin. Don't nothing treat bad. That's not what that is." And I'm a licensed counselor. I'm a therapist, so I'm like, let's educate. Let's do some psychoeducation. The symptoms of behavioral situations sometimes or behavioral health may be outburst or aggression or anger. Those are symptoms. You don't get medication for being bad. Then on top of all of that, just because you're a Black boy with a lot of energy or without a dad at home does not mean that you're bad. Dr. Umar Johnson said a few years ago that ADHD stood for something about a daddy not in the home disorder. Had y'all heard that?
Well, no.
He said that.
I mean, I could believe it.
What? Tell me why, please. I'm gonna give you some psychoeducation too.
No, I'm saying I can believe
that he said it. I was like, don't tell me you agree with that because I'm gonna put you out. But yeah, like he said that, and I'm like, now this is a Black man saying this about a diagnosis that used to be given to a lot of Black boys that either were hyper or busy or boys, right? So every time now that I'm around Black men that were once boys, I want to ask those questions and have that conversation openly because I'm like, look, now somebody's missing the mark. I don't diagnose every Black boy I see with behavioral issues, ADHD, or oppositional defiant. I don't do that. And then I don't think that everybody needs medication. Sometimes people need 100 Black men in the community to reach out to them and tell them like, hey, bro, let's go play some ball so you can exert some energy, but not medication. I don't know if y'all want to jump in on that or not, but I'm going to ask your experience if you don't want to jump in. Tell me, like, is what I'm saying something that you've seen?
Yeah, most
like
definitely.
lunchtime, and you got the line of people in the lunch and going to the principal's office to get medicine.
I'm gonna be honest. I was one of those bad children. And I'm fortunate that my mother wasn't somebody that believed in medicine. But I have cousins and other folks who, I knew that that's what it was diagnosed with. But I even look at it in my children, some things that we were able to learn through the 100 Black Men Deep Walk and partnering with different behavior groups that we partnered with over the years, and they explain to us the chemical imbalance that a lot of our children are dealing with, from the hot Takis to the sugar that they own all the time. And say, if you feeding them, you putting all this sugar in them, and sugar, we know what sugar is supposed to do. How can you be mad at that child for being at school, not sitting still? You done filled them up with sugar all day, all night. You know what I'm saying? That chemical has to release at some time and has to explode. In addition with some of those stuff that we know.
Tons of other things.
You feel me? With the other stuff that it is in our environment, things that we eat, and we know, with the food that's only offered to us, when a parent got to decide between a $20 salad for my meal versus this 4 for $4 that I get from
with everybody, right?
You feel me? So we all dealing with it, and and I really feel like it's just a chemical imbalance, and medicine ain't gonna treat that.
So chemical. Now this is more psychoeducation. If it's a chemical imbalance, what do you balance out a chemical with? Another chemical. So
natural. It's natural remedies. So you know, just like Dr. CB teacher, you know that there are if we're talking about things to help me go to sleep. Well, you don't have to take melatonin to go to sleep. You can take tea with lavender, chamomile, tea, you know, that helps soothe you and put you to sleep. Several different herbs that our grandparents taught. If your blood pressure too high, you take that spoonful of mustard and it help brings you down.
Right,
So by
right.
chemical, I don't necessarily mean you got to take pills. And I'm not saying that, you know, doctors don't know what they're saying or
Or
that
that
they're
somebody that's a cookie cutter approach to dealing with what we see.
100.
I got you. So the idea for me, just kind of thinking about it and being in both, being able to kind of go back and forth in both professions, like Black boys. There was a study where a teacher or where people in the school were set to observe 4 students: a Black boy, a white boy, a Black girl, a white girl. And they were looking for the student with the bad behavior. And it was an eye movement study. Where do you think their eyes went? I'm looking for bad behavior. Who am I looking at?
Black boy.
Of course. What? Why? So this study was done, and I've done a study on anger and aggression. We were studying Black men. Why? And I mean, I know we were doing a study. We were doing a study for solutions, but with you all being Black men, with these particular stories and studies being done on Black men, what you think?
I mean, for the most part, we are portrayed from day one as monsters
Yeah.
through media, first and foremost, and then everything else just trigger down.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a person of a different, if I'm a person of a different, you know, race or whatever, and this is what's taught to me, this is what I see on the news, on
Mhm.
TV every day, aggressive person of, you know, out, that's how,
Mug shots.
yeah, that's basically how I'm gonna approach the situation, which is almost as you can't really blame the person, you know what I'm saying, because of what the media is portraying.
Okay. Okay. So if art imitates life and life imitates art, the media tells the story of what's seen.
Mm-hmm.
If music tells the story of what we live,
Yeah,
which part, who's directing the narrative?
that's the thing. It's almost like we have to straddle the fence. Like we love the realness of the music, but at the same time, on the other end, we know what it's doing to, you know, in all,
Okay.
you know, in all areas and all aspects. To be honest, we know what it's doing, but like I can listen to it all day and not be triggered to hurt nobody.
Okay.
Not like, you know, a younger person, because I was young at one point, and I can look back on life and, you know, and thank God that, you know, that I'm still here.
And see, that's what I'm trying to get at. That's the part that I want to understand.
Mm-hmm.
My father was present in my household. I have 2 brothers. One brother that lived with me 100% of the time. Another brother that was with us like maybe 45% of the time. And they are not like me. Not saying that they are bad or that they are wrong or that they're just not like me. And I also don't understand their experience. So I ask a lot of questions, not just to my brothers, but to men that I'm around on a regular basis. When I'm labeled away, like the label for Black women, y'all know what they used to say about Black women that we were with. Why would who told you that? Like, what experience have you had with all Black women that you could say that you all are angry? There's some things that I'm angry about, but my general disposition is not angry. So then for Black men, like you said, our general disposition, and we're described as monsters. Monsters? Like who created this narrative? But then if it's the music and art that tells us how we are to navigate life and we actually play into it, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to figure that out. I really want to figure that out. So if we allow the media to say what and who we are and we live up to it.
Yeah. It's kind of like
real crazy.
It's kind of like a thing where if they gonna show the bad, you know, show the good too.
Yeah.
You show the good. That's why we try to push what we pushing.
Okay.
You know, like, I mean, if that's what you're gonna get now, come over here and see what we doing after that weekend, or 3 people getting gunned down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not, the thing about it is most of this stuff is not random. Innocent bystanders may get, you know, hit
from time to time.
You know, yeah, for the most part, but it's actually two people that they encountered each other in some kind of way, whether through me seeing you, social media, having an argument or
Mhm.
confrontation or something like that. We don't just have no random acts of nobody just, pulling up and just killing everybody or trying to, everybody, not for the most part.
Dang, it's a lot. It's so much to unpack with this. So the correlation with the medication, with the diagnosis, with mental health in the community, like all of that, and then the role of the Black man in the midst of it. It's a conversation that we can carry on for days, but it's a conversation that I can only have with Black men because that's who holds the narrative. That's who creates it. That's who lives it out. So what do you all see as solutions in these particular situations? And I only shared two pieces of what I could talk about, but what do you all think the solutions are?
I mean, when we was younger and growing up, we really had stuff to do all the time. Like
Okay.
most of the neighborhood pools was up and running
Mm-hmm.
during the summer. That right there kind of takes away from a lot of things. We played basketball 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Now you can maybe go to a recreation center just only 2 days, maybe 3 at the most.
And then I'm like, do folks even buy basketball goals and put them in the driveway and in the yard still?
As you can see, most of the goals that are outside at the parks, only one of them is up, or they don't have the rims up at all. I understand, things happen, but also, I mean, if you take it away, then I think it increases the chance of,
So something to do.
Now we had ping.
Yeah.
The
Ping,
police
great.
department,
All types of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that kind of, that was, they helped us back then.
Okay. Corey, what you think? Solutions.
Yeah, I mean, more people doing, doing what they can do to help change the narrative. Like when we talking about seeing us as monsters, like I know in my own life with my locks, like people look at me and think, he crazy. He one of them young, the way
Young
because how they look
Thundercat.
at the locks, but I've intentionally, when I'm in certain environments, certain things where I probably should have really went off on you the way that somebody you thought looked like this should. I
Mhm.
still kept it professional, still kept it cordial because I know that I'm not just representing me, I'm representing anybody else you may encounter to that. Even, in my children life of, sometimes there's a narrative out there like people ain't in their children life. Dad say, I let them know all the time. I'm one of them fathers that's there. I mean,
Right.
it's a basketball game, if it's a father school day, a daughter do your hair day, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm out
I'm in
there,
there.
and then I try to also through my platform show other men that's out there. And even with the events that we do inside the community, people always say, can't never do nothing good in the hood. But yet we always show whenever we do events there's never been any drama. There's never been any confusion. Even when there was an inkling of it coming up, we dealt with it in a professional and a right way
Okay.
to diffuse it and to use conflict resolution to where those same people that was just about to get into it, now we all at the table playing cards and talking, and they kids out there playing, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna take more of that from us. We done been inside the community, and there have been people that had guns drawn between each other, and us stepping inside there and breaking it down. Like, look, bro, you here with this female right here, and he with this female right here. What you think gonna happen? If y'all do what y'all gonna do, and
Right.
you going to a place where ain't no female. Well, ain't so the thing that you know what I'm saying, that think about what you care about the most, your children, your livelihood, whatever it is, and think, is this really worth me making a stupid decision that's gonna take all this away?
And hearing it from somebody that sounds like you all, like I can get out there and say it all day. My mama, my neighbor, my grandma, we can say this stuff all day, but to hear it from a man in the community that looks like you, that understands, the environment that you live in, that you grew up in, that understands the dynamics of how your experience may have been, that knows what it's like to be a Black man in school, at work, in the car, driving, at the store, playing sports, like to hear it from somebody or to see other men, I think is a big part of the solution. That's what I think. I really do think that people modeling behaviors is what teaches behaviors. Show me, model it for me. How I'm supposed to act? What am I supposed to say? If I get into it with another brother, what am I supposed to do? If I'm pulled up about what am I supposed like the modeling of the behavior. So I applaud you all again for what you're doing. I mean, for the rest of the guys that work with you that are not present, I applaud them as well for putting themselves out there. Like you're putting yourself out there. And when you put yourself out there, you have to come correct. So I really appreciate the work that you all are doing. Let's recap these events once more so that people can know what you all are doing and how they can join in. What we got coming up?
Next weekend, next Saturday, 10 o'clock, we will be at Harrison Park in the West End community, 901 17th Street Southwest, at 10 a.m. doing a cleanup. On Monday, October the 31st, Halloween, we'll be doing a community trunk or treat with the Crescent Cultural Community Center from 6:30 until all the candy is gone. From 11 at the address 1121 Tuscaloosa Avenue. And then also please join us for our Stop the Violence Expo on Saturday, November the 5th, at 10 o'clock at Magic City Event Center. And if you go to our page, you can see the other events. We will have a walk coming up, Martin Luther King Day, Sunday, January the 15th, 2023. But there's several opportunities for you to get involved before then.
That's what's up. Thank you all for spending some of your time with me this Sunday evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
For allowing us.
Absolutely. I think it's really important that we have these vital conversations uninterrupted, no tea, no gossip, no juice, just real straightforward conversation about what life is like in the community and who's actually trying to impact positivity. So I appreciate you all for coming in. Hey, on tomorrow, I'll be in, but I'll be in a little bit later. I'll be in for Chris Coleman tomorrow. We'll be talking again. So that's why I said I ain't doing all this talking. I'm only talking for 1 hour tonight. And then on tomorrow, we'll talk for 2 hours maybe in the think tank. And we got a lot to talk about, I think. We're going to recap the weekend, whatever you all can think of. Feel free to call in with that tomorrow. We may go live, we may not. But tune in and see. The think tank happens at 4. I'll sign on at 3 tomorrow. So from 3 until 6 tomorrow p.m., you can catch me right here on V94.9 WATV. Also, get the book. If you have not gotten your book yet, get the book. It will be out, I would say, it should be back by November. But it's definitely complete. It's ready to go. The stories are ready to read. It's called Fun Girls Don't Have Feelings. Something like love stories. Something like that. So get the book. True stories with a little fluff. All right. Be sure to do that. WatchWooWork.com is where you can find the classic is coming up. Take care of yourselves in that aspect. Rest up if you can. If you can't, just be ready. We're going to be partying all October. Have a good night. Be vital.